Hello and welcome once again to a wonderful new adventure of Daisy Brain Video here on Daisy Brain Video. Today, bands that I would like to see, or more precisely, combinations of bands I'd like to see. For example, I wouldn't really like to see John Cougar Mellencamp, but I would go see John Cougar Mellencamper Van Beethoven. Likewise, the English Beat, they were an incredible band, and now I've seen the Dave Wakeland. It's essentially a tribute band to themselves, so it's not very exciting, but I would go see the English Beatles, if you threw in Paul McCartney. And Ringo, of course. The Grateful Dead Kennedys would be something I would see. The Offspring. Paramore sounds like an interesting band, but I'd much rather see Paramore and Mindy. Likewise, no interest in seeing Boston, but Stone Temple Pilots. That might be a good combination. Jenna's Sister Sledge, perhaps. Fall Out Boy George might work. Also, the Beach Boys a little outdated, but so is our Boys in the Hood. But Beach Boys in the Hood would be something. The Who, incredible band, but perhaps more interesting would be the Who, Tea, and the Blowfish, and the Chicago Go's. Those are some of the combination bands I would want to see. And now for my parody of the Rachel Maddow Show. Good evening, welcome to the Rachel Maddow Show. Rachel has a much-deserved day off. We're going to start right away. There's so much news. The news gods have been crazy with the news that's been coming in. It's hard to keep up with it. Normally on a Thursday, you don't get the news of a Friday, but this Wednesday, we got the news of a Saturday, Sunday, Monday, all together, all combined. It's dripping from the walls. There's so much news. We only have an hour to get to, so let's get right to it. In 1369, a man named Edward Sneeblebottom invented a shoelace. Unfortunately, he only invented one shoelace, as people at that time already had been wearing two shoes. To go back to a time when people only wore one shoe, you'd have to go back to 1116, when the last double shoe, where people used to hop around in a single shoe, had been worn. That was 1116. Fast forward to 1117, when a man named Timbury Hogstoop sneezed at a most inopportune time, and knocking himself and the Bishop of Canterbury over near a veritable table of salted salmon. In a century later, salmon would be eaten by the people of Norway, but not until it was brought to them by villagers from Podenswap, which was a southern district of occupied England during the 13th century. Fast forward to 1301, and shoelaces had become quite popular. They hadn't yet been invented, but when they had, the people were anticipating their invention because a lot of shoes were falling off. It wasn't until 1401, when the first shoelace that had been invented 17 years earlier, had been actually applied to shoes themselves. People did not think to lace the shoes until 6 months later, still in 1306. But fast forward to 1307, when a woman named Angela Lansbury, not related to the actress Angela Lansbury, who would later win many Emmys and Primetime Grammy nominations for Academy Awards in the District of Columbia. In 1394, which was before the grandfather of the inventor of shoelaces was born, a child named Higginsbottom Barr, and keep that last name in mind, thought to save some shoelaces, and those shoelaces were passed down. Only one survived from the original 14th century shoelace, and in the early 20th century, a man named Toop, which was an unusual name for the time. Most people had first and second names, or Christian names, as they were commonly called by Christians. That was not related to this story. But William Barr, you may know him as, until a few days ago, the Attorney General of the United States. William Barr was seen tying his shoes. Now, William Barr is the Attorney General of the United States. The United States Attorney General, being for the entire country, he is the general attorney of the country, of the United States. Many countries have different names, but the United States, the full name being the United States of America, is the country of which William Barr has, until recent times, been the Attorney General. I'm sorry, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. And for the conclusion of today's Daisy Brain video, here are some random things that I have written down. When Play-Doh gets weird, it becomes weirdo. Here are some words that I think should be words, but aren't currently. Squaternary, shibble biscuit, refectory, perchoculate, spandexterity, funtastic, elblow, weathery, undersitting, stability time, American Pinkerus. When you walk by a flower bud, do you say, "Hey, bud"? A very small, very, very small ice cube should be called a molecube. Atoms that mimic other atoms are performing atom mimicry. Sticky plastic is plasticky. An octopus wearing socks is a socktopus. When you are dominated by a free democratic society, it's called free domination. Yesterday I drove by JFK Boulevard and I was like, just fucking kidding Boulevard? What's next? LOL Lane? Come on, millennials. I want something to go wrong with my spleen for the sole purpose of saying to my doctor, could you spleen that to me again? If you are a peon, but the very best, you are a champion. If I had an egg-selling business, I'd call it Egg Seller 8. If I had a denture shop, I'd call it Adventures in Dentures. If I had a glasses shop for pirates, I'd call it Eyeglasses. A hair shop, a hair cutting shop, I'd call it Hair Today, Gone Tomorrow. A sign shop should be called Signs of the Times. If I had an onion ring shop, I'd call it Onion Rings True. If I had a pet kangaroo, I'd name him Kangaroo Paul. I have an idea for a supplement, an herbal supplement made from single origin fair trade water from the mountains of Tibet in a mist bottle that will be influctuated, I just made up that word, with the sweat of Olympic athletes. And it's designed to plump up your lips and reduce wrinkles. And I'm going to call it Placebo-Tox. Red-diculous, what about yellow-diculous and blue-diculous and green-diculous? Bubonic plague, what about red-bonic plague and yellow-bonic plague? Thank you. I thought of a pandemic TV show. It's a Western, and everyone will be wearing masks, and it'll be called Corona Corral and the COVID Kid. And finally, I'm going to have a diva-inspired lunch today. It'll be a Barbara Streisand sandwich, Diane von Furstenberger, and I'm going to wash it down with a glass of Nicki Minaj juice, and it'll be a Lady Gaga gastronomic delight. And with that amazing joke, I bid you farewell.